Hello everyone, it's your lovely Abbie Dagrin and welcome back to my channel, lovelies. Today I'll be continuing a series on my channel that deals with natal chart analysis, and today I'll be doing one on Robbie Williams. I'll be speaking on his personality traits, his characteristic traits based off of his natal chart and as well as his placements, and how a lot of his placements have led to his success. So please stay tuned for the rest of my video, lovelies. If you have not yet become a part of the Abbie Dagrin family, then please make sure you're subscribed to the channel and you've hit that notification bell so you know when I upload videos on the daily. Please also make sure you have hit that like button because I know you guys will love this video. And last but not least, please make sure you share this video with everyone you know, whether it's your friends, your family members, your enemies, anyone who loves Robbie or really likes his content. Now let's get right into the video, lovelies. Robbie Williams was born on February 13th, 1974, so this qualifies him to be an Aquarius. And even though Aquarius is pretty hard of a placement in the sun placement, so it's basically Aquarius and Libra are pretty hard in this placement, but they tend to be very social and have a large network of friends and acquaintances. People count on them because they know that will always help them. They love to enjoy being in groups and in social gathering. They have a free spirit about them, about being independent and living their own lives and by their own rules, that it's very difficult to tame them. They have a very much great appearance that is different from others because they have a style and dress that is different, and they're the types of people that people look to in regards to trends because they do things differently, and then later on people will copy what they do. So this is a very nice placement. Up next would be his moon in Scorpio, and this is another hard placement that can be very difficult to have. So the moon has a hard time in Capricorn and in Scorpio. People with this placement, they tend to have a hard time with their emotions and expressing their emotions. They're also the types of people who do go through a lot of things in life. They do have a karmic life that can make it hard for them. So you're going through a lot personally with this placement and you have a hard time expressing that. So they may be the types of people who are going to use other ways to express those feelings that may not be the best for them. However, they are very intuitive and know what's going to come up next. They are great at reading people like a book, and they're very alluring people. They're also the types of people who know how to really make you feel great in a situation, and they know what to say to make you happy. So this is an interesting placement. Up next is his Mercury in Pisces, and this is another hard placement to have. It's interesting because Mercury is great in Sagittarius, Virgo. So it's ruled and exalted in Virgo, so it's debilitated, and it's in fall in Pisces. So it's two negatives against his placement. However, it's a beautiful placement in my opinion because they're the types of people that are able to be very imaginative. They're able to go with the flow. They have a very nice and beautiful voice. They're very gentle people. They may be moody at times, so they're very emotional and compassionate towards other people. They have a lot of intellect that is very beautiful. They have a lot of different traits that make them lovely. They're the types of people who are great at making music, writing music, and they're very creative in their own way. So this is a very wonderful placement. Up next would be his Venus in Capricorn, and with this placement, he's the types of person that looks for beauty, but that's not the thing that will always be there for him. He wants someone who's very mature, very responsible, very hardworking, and very successful. Also someone who's socially validated. He's someone who's very stable and wants that in a relationship. He's very predictable and wants that as well. Very responsible, very productive, and very mature. He's someone who loves to impress with his intellect. and his determination. He's very predictable in his relationships, and he's someone who's very cool but tends to be a loner. He's someone who appears to others as very important. He's very conservative and maybe shy but tries to hide it. He's someone who is very much old-fashioned and loves old-fashioned ideas, and he's someone who's very hardworking. Up next would be his Mars in Taurus, and with this placement, he's someone who has a physically low drive and low level of activity. However, his mental concentration is the best. He's someone who loves to learn from his mistakes and his experiences, and he's someone who's very patient. So I know having Mars placement, it has a lot to do with drive, ambition, and being able to do things quickly because it is ruled by Aries, Scorpio, and Capricorn. But this placement, they tend to be patient, very determined, and very enduring when it comes to building stability. So they will work as hard as they need to in order for them to get what they need in life. Even though it may not come immediately, they are always going to trust the process. And they may be stubborn at times because they feel as though their ways is the best way. And they're the types of people who are very much great with their health and with their purpose. Up next would be his Jupiter in Aquarius. So with this placement, he's someone who tends to be very welcoming, very accommodating, very intellectual, and he's someone who will bring great fortune in his life through his inventive thought process. So being different than others is what's going to help bring a lot of the wealth that he's going to endure. He's also someone who will need personal growth when it comes to freedom to do things that are new and interesting. He's someone that is very great at inventing things. That's something that naturally comes to him. He's someone who's very much about being an individual person, and he is going to be attracted to mass movements and emphasizing social betterment that will help improve him and improve anything that he does. He's someone that is fair-minded and objective, and he has very great skills at organization and administration. Up next would be his Saturn in Gemini. So with this placement, he's someone who can at times be narrow-minded, but they are the types of people who may have an interest in things that are very much sciencey. He's someone who is great at having intellect. He's someone who is great at being stable, and he's someone that is great at being communicative. So he loves communication, intellect, and stability. Sometimes he may have stumbles in his blocks that makes it hard for him to really believe in himself and believe that he has these traits. So even though he's great at these things, but he also may have a lot of things that may be a stumbling block to him accomplishing these things as well. So just knowing that he's very analytical and have comprehensive skills will really help him out. Up next will be his Uranus in Libra. And with this placement, he's able to come up with new ideas and look at things in different ways. He's also someone who, in his generation, are the types of people that are very much about free and different types of relationships and emotional commitments, because Libra has a lot to do with relationships and Uranus has a lot to do with transformation and things that are going to be brought into the light, that things need to be changed. They're the types of people who are attracted to experiments in marriages and shared lifestyles. Personal freedom is more important to them than entangling emotional bonds. Makes sense because it is an air sign. In the realm of arts and aesthetics, they are attracted to the bizarre, shocking, and the unusual. And this is something that they are great at, and people in their generation are great at as well. Up next would be his Neptune in Sagittarius. And with this placement, they're the types of people who thrive on a variety of exciting and uplifting experiences and learning new things as well. They're the types of people who love to do different things in different countries and different places, and that's something that is just very beautiful and interesting about their generation. They're also the types of people who are heavily involved in investigating different things like foreign things, exotic things, different intellectual systems, and religious philosophies. The most extreme ideas are pursued for them, and they're the types of people who are at the forefront of humanitarian attempts to improve the lot of those who need assistance. They're the types of people who are comfortable with the concept of a global village and making sure that everyone is happy and everyone is just perfectly fine in regards to the world as a whole. Up next would be his Pluto in Libra. So he's able to get this placement because he was born between 1972 and 1984. So Generation Y, he's a part of a generation that loves a lot about harmony, symmetry, agreement, and pleasantness. They're the types of people who are very much the types of people who want to be balanced. They love to find a common ground and they love to cooperate with people. They are the types of people who are about global politics and transform relationship. They're the types of people who are all about changing society's attitude towards marriage and interpersonal relationships. They also have a great fear of power that is inherent in making emotional or contractual commitments that are not entered lightly. So relationships is something that they would like to change in their lifetime and being able to have partnership. Up next is his North Node in Sagittarius, and with this placement, he will need to develop these attributes in order for him to uncover his hidden gifts and talents. So having reliance on his intuition, prophetic abilities, and invisible guidance, speaking to a higher source, being spontaneous and developing a sense of freedom and adventure, having direct communication free from having any censorship, trusting himself and spending time alone in nature, having patience and having intuition while listening and hearing the meaning behind words. Also, him being able to free the mind and explore the horizons is something he will need to accomplish. Learning the way of the spirit, connecting to nature, teaching and inspiring others to live a life of splendidness, giving superficial connections in exchange for divine connections, and focusing his energies on intellectual and spiritual pursuits. Up next would be his Chiron in Aries, which is a very difficult placement to have, and people with this placement tend to have a lot of their wound coming from themselves and being hurt from themselves. So with this placement, they're the types of people who do not believe in themselves and who love to compare themselves with others and love to be self-engrossed, and this can be very hard and difficult because the other placements with Chirons has a lot to do with outside forces, external forces, but this one has to do with the internal force. So moving forward and loving themselves is very important, accepting that everyone is different and they are everyone and it's okay for them to be different, acknowledging their strengths and their weaknesses and focusing more on their strengths. And if they do look at their weakness, see it as a thing that makes them unique and makes them beautiful, or if they want to increase that weakness and make it a strength. So this is the placement of a Chiron in Aries. Next up would be his ascendant/rising in Leo. With this placement, he's someone who's very magnetic and attracts attention. He's very self-aware of his effects on others. He might be prone to having a little bit of a temper and jumping to conclusions. And he may be bossy or dramatic, but he tends to be very much a fun person, very confident in himself. He may have a problem with overdoing things like work. He might find it difficult to take advice from others. He may be a bit stubborn, but he's someone who's going to speak his mind. He's someone who's very much generous, and he has a charisma about him that makes him very different. He's very independent. He's very expressive of himself, very confident, very creative, and someone who has a very warm heart. So he loves to do things that are very helpful towards others and helpful towards himself as well. So this placement is a very great placement and a fame placement. Last but not least is his midheaven in Taurus. So with this placement, he has this persona in the public eye in regards to his career of being consistent in his job, someone who's very reliable in his work. He's very tactful. He's very pleasant in everything that he does, and he's very resourceful. He's someone who's going to tough it out when it comes to his career. He's someone who loves to be in charge, and he loves to spot different opportunities for himself in his work. He's also someone who's very persistent in his career and gonna stick with it regardless of what happens. He believes it will get him results. He's someone who will not let any difficulties throw him off the course in his career. And it's very hard for him to relinquish his power or position once he's settled in his career. He thrives on careers that gives more a hands-on approach, and he believes knowledge is true security. That's all I had for you lovelies today in regards to Robbie Williams Natal Chart. Please let me know down below. Did you learn more about him? Did you get a better understanding as to who he is as a person? Please also let me know down below who else you guys would want me to do a natal chart analysis. And also let me know down below, did you guys want me to do a dark side in regards to all the moon placements? So please let me know if you want me to do a series. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. You've hit that notification bell and that like button and that share button. And please make sure you are following me on all of my social media accounts, from Facebook to my podcast under Abbie Dagrin, my Etsy store to my Instagram under Gaio Beauty, and my PayPal that is linked down below. I love you all. Please stay safe and healthy, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, lovelies.